Happy Labor Day weekend, folks. And for Labor Day weekend, while you're all sitting there eating your hot dogs and hamburgers, we're laboring. What are we doing today? Everything.
Farming doesn't take a break.
Nope, farming doesn't take a break. This weekend so far started early for me. This was my off Friday week from work. And flip, every single fence post hole has a post in it. Finally dug them all down. I know I mentioned the holes were dug last week or over the weekend, I forget. But went through this morning, made sure everything was dug down. We do have a few outliers on the property, especially back here in this like back section. We have this layer that kind of runs about 3 feet deep, like between 2.5 and 3 feet deep, of this sandstone stuff. Here's a good example of what we have to deal with. So you gotta chip through all this, and as you can see, this one flip comes up to my chin, which is our post height. This one, not so much. So yeah, we're getting posts in, we're doing stuff, and right now we're heading to the back 40 behind the pond to clear out some more of the trees that fell this spring from the ice storm. And I guess I can work on giving you a little bit of a review on the chainsaw as promised a few videos ago. Ended up buying a new chainsaw, and I apologize for all the noise. Locking up the gate behind me, don't want loose cows. I'll go that way. We got a Ryobi 40 volt 18-inch chainsaw. Opted for an electric chainsaw. Was talking to a friend with some of the merits to it. We do have a small steel, I think it's a 16-inch bar. It's good for limbing and stuff, but it's a really small engine. And trying to get through some of the trees back here that we have is difficult on, especially with such a small bar. It's really meant for just limbing and trimming, things like that. Whereas trying to get through some of the trunks on these trees, which are between 12 and probably a good 16 inches, that little chainsaw really isn't meant for something like that. So I did some looking and reviewing, and one of the benefits of the electric chainsaws is they don't really rely on speed so much as torque, and the brushless motors in them are really good at generating the torque, so they kind of just tear through things. One of the things I noticed, I already cut a few of the trees. You'll see one of them that I worked on. Obviously a good fresh brand new chain helps, but it really just melted right through it, and I didn't have any problems going through it. It's a pretty big tree. Other than that, sorry, as I watch for spider webs. Spiders have taken up residence in the fall air. But we'll, one of the nice things about the electric chainsaws, or the battery chainsaws, is you don't need gas, a lot less maintenance. The only petroleum you need in there is the bar oil, which every chainsaw needs. And if you really wanted to be eco-friendly and green, which I know with batteries, somebody's got to mine the lithium and all that. Would you like me to take the lead?
I got one.
Yeah, Christina just, I don't want to say ate a spider, but ate a spider.
I walked through a web.
If you really wanted to, you could power them on a generator, power your charger on a generator. That really my only complaint about them is the batteries. Your run time is fairly limited, about 35-40 minutes of work. So you're going to want more than one battery, but you can also always have a lot of fun. And let me turn around. You can see we've been clearing. So this path back here was overgrown. There were trees down. Managed to clear that out. But as you can see here, this is all the stuff that we had to deal with. I pulled this brush out. There's a spider right here, babe. And one over here.
You just walked through his web.
Cool. I had a tree fall right here. We're going to be working on clearing this one out today. Had this one fall across the path. Cut part of this down a couple of weeks ago. You can see some of the mess that we have through here. And as I go through, this was the big one. This tree is probably a good 50-60 foot tall. And you can see it uprooted. You can see the water back there still. And this guy was laying all the way across this path up into the tree line on the edge of the pond. And this guy, this was my first test of this chainsaw, and you can see right here, I cut this guy down. This is probably a good 16 inches, and it went right through it. So I'll try and get some video of the chainsaw in action, but we're going to be trying to clear this out so that we can get through here with the lawnmower, clear everything up, and finally have our path back, you know, after, what is it, February?
Yeah.
Since February, we haven't been able to walk through here. So, this is our job for today. Fun. Was that a goat? Oh yeah, they're right there. So I have a videographer. Wow, there's a word. I made up a word. A videographer today. And again, Ryobi 18-inch 40 volt. 5 amp hour battery comes with it. I think it came with this. I also did get the string trimmer. The top end, their carbon fiber string trimmer, because our gas powered one is out of commission right now. This is your gas. It charges pretty quick. I think to full charge it was about half an hour. Comes with the charger. It plugs right in here. I'm actually going to leave that out for the moment because I have to tighten up the chain. Typical maintenance on any chainsaw. It comes with a bar tool right here. This is probably one of the few complaints I have about this is the tensioner, the screw for the tensioner right here. Unfortunately, you can see it has very little, if any, handle on it. So it's good for loosening up the bar lugs. It's 2 bar lugs. But I brought out an actual screwdriver to tighten up the chain. There we go. Because you just can't get a grip on this. Torque that down. And obviously a aftermarket tool will probably work better, but this stores right back here, which is kind of handy. Again, other than the lack of grip for the screw, and then the battery just slides right in. Boom, there you go. So with that said, really not much else to it. Put on some gloves to work with. So the chain brake, and then there's a lock on the trigger right up on the top, and just pull that back, and then off you go. No starting it, no doing anything. And I'll start on just some of the small brush because I need to move it anyways. Absolutely no problem. This is one of the nice things about the battery powered or electric chainsaws is you don't have to worry about starting it up. You just pull the trigger and off you go. And these are just little limbs here. Something a little bigger. Like I said, it just goes right through like butter. This is just the logistics of this one out here. Get my work cut out for me, pun intended. But the nice thing is you don't have to turn it off, you can just set it down and move on to other things. Now, the bar does still need lubricant, so you have a reservoir for bar oil. Show that off right here. So, reservoir for bar oil. There's a little chamber on here. You can see the level of the bar oil. If you store this for a while, just like any other chainsaw, it will leak, so you probably can either drain it or tighten it down really quick. And then probably the only real complaint that a lot of actual lumberjacks will complain is the bucks on it are plastic, and there's no option to get metal on here. Some of the other chainsaws, the electric chainsaws, will use metal barking teeth on there. I don't think we're going to be having to worry about chopping up 40-inch oaks with this. If we do, we have bigger problems. Okay, so cleaning out some of this brush to make some room. And you want to work on some of the bigger things, okay. Oh, chain brake, huh. So that works. Like I said, it just melts right through it. Part of it's a brand new chain, but just out of sheer convenience of everything, I think it works great. Little mini review on it. I ain't gonna bore you with any more details. Price, I'm not gonna lie, I got this on a deal. Not sponsored. I bought it off of eBay as new for about $120 cheaper than normal, but for $320 for a decent chainsaw that'll let you do limbing and cutting timber pretty good, I don't think you can beat it. Other than that, I think we're just going to go to work and clean this up. Boom. Little breather break. As you can see, we've made some progress. We're chopping through. What do you think? 45 minutes? How long do you think we've been out here?
I don't know.
I'd guesstimate 45 minutes worth of work. So, first things we did is over here. We did clear out the tree that fell over into the pond, except for this one piece, which is just too far down in there. And it's pretty big, so the two of us can't lift it out. We're gonna have to probably haul it out somehow, not sure how. We cleared out all this, and here's our brush pile. This is brush pile number one. We moved some stuff, and then we started another one because we were clearing out the main blockage up here. And if you compare it to earlier in the video, I'll try and pull out a shot of that. You could barely even see over this. And our little chainsaw, which has been getting a workout. Here we go. We still got, see that, 3 bars of battery left for about 45 minutes of work. And again, that's a 5 amp hour battery, and we've been cutting pretty constantly out here. Doing most of this is limbing, but you can see some of these guys are pretty big, size of my hands. That's about 5-6 inches. We're not worried about these big chunks right now because they're off to the side, but definitely my little still would have been having a lot of trouble with this coming through here. Probably a new chain would help, but it's really not designed even for this kind of thing. But right now, if you can't tell, it's a little humid out, and we're taking a little bit of a break. So here, enjoy some. This is the kind of view we have. We're right behind the pond, so this is about halfway into our property. You can see over to the left there, which is our east side. That's our neighbor's pasture. We share a fence line with pretty much all the way down. But you can see our woods go back about 5 acres. And this is kind of one of those things we enjoy. One of these days we're hoping to be able to put some trails in back here, but as you can see with these fallen trees, we have a lot of cleaning to do before we can even consider bringing people back here. It's not safe, especially with as much water as we've had this year. At any point in time, some of these trees can go just fall right over. Some of them are leaning. They're just propped up against other trees. Good windstorm will bring them down, and we'll be back in the same predicament as we're in. But this back of the pond area, one of the things we'd like to do is if y'all would like to come camping out in the middle of nowhere, we have this beautiful pond and this path back here. You could set up a tent and spend an evening out here. Some nice nature going on back here. Woo. Well, we are done, as you can see behind me. Still some stuff off to the side that needs to be cut up and taken out, but as you can see, there's the path through there. You can see the big pile back there. That's actually from starting to clean things up several months ago, and really haven't gotten back here since. Thing about this area is it's always humid out here. And when it's hot and humid, this particular part where we're in the shade of the tree canopy gets really humid. But yeah, we can actually come through here. I can run the lawnmower through here now. I'll be taking care of that brush pile sometime this week. This is my holiday week for Labor Day. And again, in keeping with this, more of a review video, let's talk about it. So we've been out here, I'd say between an hour and a half and 2 hours, cutting things with the Ryobi saw. Again, this is not a sponsored video. Bought this with my own money. After reading a few reviews, there's a lot of the 18-inch bar saws, the battery bar saws, Greenworks, Ego, Ryobi. Some of them have higher voltage on the battery, which means they can push a little bit more power through the motor, whatnot. But I opted for the Ryobi. A lot of the tools I have personally are Ryobi tools. I have a lot of the 18-volt tools up in my workshop that I use. I love them. Again, this is not a sponsored plug at all. Just figured for talking about small homestead type of stuff.
I want to say something. So the other chainsaw is, while it's really small, like the bar is small and all of that, and it wouldn't have gone through all of this stuff. Even if it could have, I couldn't use it. It's really heavy. It's really hard to start. I don't feel comfortable with that one because it's so big and heavy. I actually did a lot of the cutting back here while Dan pulled all the branches and piled them up. this is a really easy for me to use. I can start it very easily. I can handle it very easily. It's not super heavy. So I love that the battery powered tools are a little bit easier for me to use, because I like to be able to use them too. And sometimes, like when we had that giant tree come down out by the house, Dan was at work. It would have been great if I had this tool at that point, because I could have been able to work on it a little bit by myself.
Do some of the limbing off it.
I just feel like I need to be able to do some of this stuff too while we're out here on the homestead. I don't want Dan to always have to do it, and if he's not here because he's at work, I need to be able to use some of our tools when there's an emergency situation, like if a tree came down on one of the fences and I need to get it off so that I could tighten up a fence so that animals didn't get loose, like stuff like that. So I love this chainsaw because it's easy to use and it's not real super heavy.
Yep. And again, the big thing is, and Christina can pretty much attest to this, is you start it up, you set it down on the log or the branch, and it pretty much just rips right through it. You don't have to put too much force behind it. You know, it lets you actually work with the tool rather than work for the tool. So again, here's a pile. This is the majority of the brush that we put up, and then this one over here. Again, I would say probably closer to 2 hours worth of working back here. This is the 5 amp hour battery, and keep in mind there's a few different sizes of batteries that they have. I believe the chainsaw came with a 4 amp hour. This 5 amp hour I think came with the weed eater. They have a 9 amp hour battery, which, I mean, that's really where they get their money. So here we go. After 2 hours, I still got 2 bars left. At this point, it's going to start draining a little bit faster if we were to keep using it. The batteries typically have a drawdown. They're supposed to be linear, but that last half the capacity of the battery typically draws down a little bit faster. And again, what Christina was saying is the chainsaw with the battery, with the 5 amp hour battery, I think it weighs in at around 9 pounds total.
Yeah, it's not heavy at all. It's really easy to use.
Yep.
And I love that I push it through the logs and stuff. It did just kind of, you set it down and it just kind of, the weight of the saw pulls it through, so it makes it just so much easier to use. And I feel like I'm a strong woman, but I also at this point in my life am starting to feel my age a little bit, so so some of those muscles hurt a little bit, and it makes it a lot easier to be able to use it for a long period of time too, because like you said, we were out here for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't know exactly what time we came out. So but yeah, I like it. So
and that should be kind of a testimony to the saw. Like I said, it's pretty light, but even being light, you set it down on the wood and it rips right through it by itself. You don't have to apply too much pressure or anything. For a homestead, for a small homestead, for you know, anybody that needs anything for light limbing and medium duty work, I highly recommend this. Again, the only complaints I have is the bar tool that comes with it. You get no leverage to be able to tighten up the chain tensioner, so you're going to want to bring out a screwdriver with you. And then what was my other complaint about it?
The plastic.
Oh yeah, the bucking teeth on it are plastic, and there's no alternative for that. It'd be great if Ryobi actually stepped up. Most of the competitors to this saw do have actual metal bucking teeth. And a feature that I'd like to see, granted I'm out in the middle of nowhere and I can't do it, but a feature that I'd like to see is either an adapter or a built-in plug for an AC extension cord. It would be great to be able to plug this thing in and not use the battery when you're out around your house where you have power outlets and things like that. You know, I have one Ryobi tool. I have a shop light, a kind of a stand-up floodlight. It actually has that feature. You can use it either on the battery or you can plug it directly into the wall. And that having that option on something like this, on a chainsaw like this, would be incredible, because if you're out here for an extended period of time, You can bring a generator with you. You can bring some solar panels with you, something like that, and just plug it directly in instead of having to say, oh, my batteries are up, and I need to spend half an hour, 45 minutes charging them up again before I can do more work. Otherwise, you definitely have to invest in the batteries. Understand, for these tools, it's kind of like the way computer printers work. The tool itself is relatively cheap, although I would say at $329, this chainsaw is kind of middle of the road. But where they get you are going to be the batteries. Now, the good news is if you buy into the ecosystem, you have the 40 volt weed eater, you have the 40 volt lawnmower, you have the 40 volt yard blower, other tools. You're going to get more batteries to use, but they also don't last forever. At some point they do break down. You get a few years out of it. The other nice thing is the warranty on this. I believe it's a 5-year warranty on the tool and 3 years on the battery. I could be wrong. I'll have to double check that. Ryobi actually does take pretty good care of stuff. A lot of people are going to say, why are you talking up Ryobi? Because it is lower end. It's meant for kind of small homestead, off-grid type of things. If you're going to do some massive logging, go get yourself a Husqvarna Rancher, something like that. But if you're doing something and you need something general purpose that's going to be able to take down decent sized trees, do your limbing, and not break the bank, this guy right here. Again, my disclaimer, I bought this with my own money. It's not sponsored, but hey, Ryobi, if you're listening, feel free to send me stuff. I could always use more things. Other than that, our general talk about farm stuff. This week, I mentioned in a previous video, I'm taking a holiday week, getting a few extra days to get stuff done around the farm, working on the fence, hopefully getting most of that fence split done. Fixing up things here and there, getting things cleaned up. I got a lot of wood back here to cut up and stack. If you need firewood, ping us on Facebook, email us, call us, whatever. I got tons, more than I know what to do with. Wood chips, I'll have wood chips. I do have a wood chipper. I could probably do a review on that at some point in time. Nothing special there, but if you're going to need wood chips or anything, not really mulch, but it works for mulch, can hook you up with that too. Just bring your truck and a shovel. Other than that, we're going to enjoy the holiday. We're going to enjoy the weekend. We're expecting some rain here, but we're just going to chill out at home. We hope you guys enjoy your holiday too, and we'll catch you in the next video. And my shameless plug, like, subscribe, visit us on Facebook, email us, buy some. Well, we're not selling eggs. We got duck eggs. You want duck eggs? We'll sell you those. We'll talk to you later. Peace.